Do you like to binge watch TV? Did you know you could binge listen to podcasts? Head over to electronicmediacollective.com, where they have podcasts for days. You like podcasts about wrestling? They have that. Do you like podcasts about TV and film? They have that. Do you like podcasts about horror? EMC has that too. Do you like comedy? Do you like books? Guess what? They've got you covered. Head over to electronicmediacollective.com. Pick your favorite podcast today.
Hey everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, Part 6, and you're listening to Moose's Monster Mash.
You're listening to Moose's Monster Mash. Welcome, Horror Hounds, to a new year and a new episode of Moose's Monster Mash. And what better way to kick off the new year than with a Friday the 13th special? Because, well, it's Friday the 13th. And who better to kick us off than voice actor and star of Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Liz, Roger Rose.
Thank you. Yes, this is Vincent Price. Oh, it's a tingler. No, that's not right. And actually, that still that sounds like Pinky in the Brain. Sounds like my friend Maurice LaMarche. Yes, Pinky. So,
Let's say I can't listen to like Orson Welles or any of the like older guys anymore now without hearing Maurice's take on Pinky. Like, it is such ingrained in pop culture now that that's where it sits.
We did, there's a movie I did called, first of all, hello, hi, nice to see you. It's been a special moment. Sorry, I'm just already going into it. So, hello. And hello, everybody. What was it? Oh, I did a movie called Comic Book, the Movie, directed by Mark Hamill, starring Mark Hamill and me. And every animation person, period. SpongeBob, Tom Kenny, Jess Harnell, Billy West, who's the Red M&M. But we're all live action, and we shot it at Comic-Con. And the reason I mentioned Maurice is I did Pinky in the Brain with him and some other cartoons, and he's a pal. And so we're doing one of those convention rooms, 2,000 people, and, Hamill's there. Hamill's freaking Yoda. It doesn't matter, when you're at Comic-Con. And so I am introducing everybody, and it's actually on the extras on that movie. And I go, and ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Maurice LaMarche. And he gets out there and he goes, yes, Pinky, I'm in Macy's window. He does the whole Orson Welles thing. And I said to him, did that get you? And the crowd's going nuts. And I go, did that get out of your system? And he goes, never.
No.
No, always.
Well, I'm like, yeah, in that vein, you did, where did it go? I was just looking at it. I've been watching it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
If I'm in it, I'm sorry.
Like, oh, God, where did it go? I lost my notes.
Hot moves. I'll come up with every bad movie I did if you like.
No, this one was a TV show.
Well, then it might have been good. Seinfeld?
Nope, Gravedale High.
Oh my gosh, I knew I'd love you. Did you been watching?
It's on YouTube.
That is the most underappreciated show. I am so proud to be on that. One of the most. Anyway, go ahead. What were you going to ask?
And Maurice is on that, and like just the cast that's on it, and like when I looking into everything you were on to do this episode, like I saw Gravedale High, and I was like, I think I remember that, and then I go back and started watching it because, like I said, I found it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I remember this show, and then you play Vinnie Stoker.
I'm so thrilled that you mentioned this because I'm very proud of this one. And as a result, as I sit down back in my chair, I I have the cell of Vinnie. I don't want to get the glare here. Vinnie the vampire, Vinnie Stoker. Can you see that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cell from the cartoon right there.
Yeah, and he's got
Vinnie the vampire.
Hey. He's this mix of like Fonzie and Vinnie Barbarino.
Boom. Nailed it. But I have to tell you, you mentioned this cartoon, the cast. I'm 22 maybe, and it's Tim Curry. And of course, Rick Moranis and an actress named Ellen Burstyn, Jonathan Winters, Ricky Lake. She played Cleopatra, which she wasn't very happy about, I might add.
Yeah.
And then every guest star you just mentioned, you know, Maurice, but just tons of big stars because it was Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh my goodness. And that's the first time I worked with Jonathan Winters, who I ended up working with a lot. I was really thrilled by that. And he'd always like do bits when you walk in. But Rick Moranis, SCTV is like my favorite thing in the entire world. And as you know, he did stuff and then he stopped because his wife was actually ill at the time. So he'd fly into LA and we would do like 3-4 episodes at a time. And I always made sure I sat next to him because I wanted to ask him about SCTV. You've seen SCTV,
yeah.
right? You've seen, so I would ask him about all that stuff. And he was very open to, but I'm going to do a quick impression for you. Because again, I owe you, so I'm telling you stuff I don't normally talk about. So he was nice. But I'd say like, oh, I love Jerry Todd, the disc jockey. And he'd go, oh, I wrote that. So here's what we did. And I'm like dying going, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. And then if I brought up Dr. Tung's House of 3D, he'd go, I didn't write that. And he'd turn away from me and wouldn't talk to me. So it was always like a Vegas gamble. If I hit the right sketch, he'd go, oh, I wrote that. And then he would tell me everything. And it would be, you know, like Play It Again, Bob, the Woody Allen parody.
Yeah.
He would tell me everything. But if he didn't write it, he wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the show.
Oh, that's insane.
And Tim Curry, really cool guy. Great sense of humor. Everybody was just amazing. Ricky Lake, we became friendly from that. And it was like, it only lasted 13 episodes. And the only other side thing I'll tell you on this one, I was, you know, trying again to impress Rick Moranis. And I go, so I guess you're doing this for your kids? He goes, no, the money. I'm like, okay.
Well, damn.
I mean, he was straight ahead, man.
What got you into like acting and inevitably voice acting? Because I think you have at this point a more prolific voice acting career than you do on screen role.
Well, you know, I hosted a lot of shows and I did a lot of movies and TV shows, but I always was a voiceover guy. And my parents are broadcasters. My mom was on NPR in Chicago, and my dad was on the radio in Los Angeles and San Francisco. He was one of the original, like confrontational radio talk show hosts. So if you take my mother NPR and you take my dad conservative, divorce. And anyway, but still I was around broadcasting. My mom would always do voiceovers in Chicago, where I'm originally from. And then I would be here in LA and I'd go with my dad to the recording studios. So I grew up around it. It was something I always knew, and it was never even a question. I knew I would be in front of the camera and behind the microphone. Hello.
So that definitely tracks with a lot of the roles you got. Because like I'm going through your list and you see like narrator, newscaster, and it's like, okay. And then, you know, just within like the first 2 minutes of talking to you, and it's like, got it.
Yeah, and you know that's how I got started. Which I think your viewers will be happy about this. There's a movie called The Reanimator. You know that movie?
Uh-huh.
And so my very first job, other than like, you know, some goofy commercials on camera, was being the death voices for The Reanimator and Reanimator 2 and all these really horrible low budget foreign films. As a matter of fact, one just Amazon just bought all the old library of old films, and one of them is Savage Island with Linda Blair. And I am every guy in that movie because it was shot in like Romania. And there's literally a gunfight scene where there's like 10 guys and I'm all 10 guys and all 10 of us die. And it's all me. Anyway, but a Reanimator was the coolest film. It's still a cool film.
Yeah.
Stuart Gordon, the director and everything. And what was really cool, you like this. So it was my very first gig. And I was all the male voices, and Pat Music was all the female voices. Her daughter is Mae Whitman, the actress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, so we had to do all this stuff. My arms are being ripped off and everything. And there's a scene in the Reanimator. Do you remember do you remember the scenes?
Yes.
Pretty hardcore scene where the headless man goes down on the woman who's tied to the table.
Yeah. So
she's the woman doing the voices because they didn't use the real voices, and I'm the guy, and I literally had to go. And please excuse, I don't know if there's, I'm not trying to be dirty, but see the movie, you'll see it, and it's like my headless guy puts my head down in between her crotch, and I go, it's like, and we're just both like, oh, and she's screaming, and we're both just going, this is how we make a living, and it was great. And Stuart Gordon he put me in the second one, like Reanimator 2. I don't remember what it's called. And he did it just to get me again, because I turned green. This one, he had me, it's the very beginning of the film, and you see the back of the guy in an insane asylum, and he's in like a whatever you call it. And again, you can see this in the movie. And he's, I don't even know how he's doing because he's in a straitjacket, but he's pleasuring himself. So you only see it from the back, and I have to make pleasuring myself noises. And he did it just to mess with me, man. It was really not fun. Go ahead, make noises. What?
You're like the Frank Welker of horror.
Frank Welker. Now you're hitting me with everybody. Frank Welker's my hero. Frank Welker
definitely.
Have you had him on the show?
I have not met him yet, but he is on my short list of people I want to meet. Can
I tell you, he is the first person you want to meet.
Oh, definitely.
He is. Can I tell you a Frank Welker story?
By all means.
I owe you, man. So I'm trying to, Frank Welker, first of all, is my hero. Frank Welker is the most, there's all of us. And I mean, like Jim Cummings, who's one of my best friends. Brilliant. And that's a word I don't throw around. But then there's a level that and that's Frank Welker. I've witnessed him doing things that it's impossible. And the nicest man in the world. But here's my quick story, and it's pretty good Hollywood story. So I'm doing the 5 Heartbeats, the Robert Townsend movie. And I'm the joke white guy, where I'm taking all the great R&B soul songs and I make them real white, like there's a song, ain't got nothing but yours, and I go, ain't got nothing but your love, honey, and they dye my hair blonde. Here, hold on. You think I'm making this stuff up? What's funny is I don't have many things hanging up on my walls, but these are the 2. This is a prop from the movie. There I am right there. I'm the lead singer of the 5 Horsemen. This is a fake album. And they dyed our hair white. See?
Oh, wow.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. 125th Street, except we're in the pink sweaters. And so anyway, I'm Robert Townsend, who I got lucky enough to work with a couple times. He put me in it. And anyway, so they dye my hair white and all this kind of stuff. And I'm the joke white guy. And so Frank is doing a screen test for a TV show at CBS Network. Now, for people who don't know what a screen test is, it's the final thing before you get the job. They put you on a set, they get the cameras rolling, they put makeup on you, and you do whatever the scene is. And then they look at it, and that's whether you get the job or not. They make a deal before you even do the job. They sign you to a 7-year deal. This is for TV. So I'm doing this small part in this movie. My hair's goofy, and I get a call from my agent. You got to get to CBS right now to host your own TV show. I'm like, what? I didn't audition for any show or anything like that. Frank, in his screen test, is in the middle of his screen test, and he goes, you know what? I'm not right for this. You know who's right for this? Roger Rose. And they go, who? And he goes, yeah, call him. And they go, we'll finish your screen test. He goes, nah, I'm leaving. See ya. And they go, no, don't go. and he leaves.
Holy shit.
So all the executives at CBS go, get me this guy. So I stop at like a Woolworths or something, and I there's like this foam stuff, and I spray paint it all in my hair because I look so goofy. And then I go into the CBS meeting, and as I'm talking to him, chunks of black are falling off. But of course, it's interpretation. And they go, what's going on? I go, well, I'm shooting this movie with Robert Townsend. Oh, he must be somebody, right? But the fact is they said, would you like to host your own TV show, 4 guaranteed on the air on CBS? I'm like, what? And because they were so blown away that Welker would walk away from a job and just say, use that guy. They hired me sight unseen. I mean, basically, as long as I wasn't a wiener, they gave me the job. And I had 4 on the air. It got canceled, but I had 4 on the air hosting my own show on CBS primetime. Isn't that wild? Because of Frank.
That's some power. Yeah, and like you said, just nope, I don't want it. Give it to him.
Yeah, and they're all nobody does that. Nobody does that.
Yeah,
and they're all like, whoever that guy is, he said, get him.
Yeah,
it just doesn't happen.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So
pretty amazing though, huh?
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you prefer on camera or on the mic roles?
That's a good question. When it's a rewarding on camera thing, meaning if it's something that's in my wheelhouse or something I can do, it's fun. I love the camera. I just love the camera. But that was another reason why I went more towards voiceover, is because, how many times can you go delivery or whatever the gig was. And I got some leads in movies, but then, and that was amazing. So probably, honestly, if was amazing on camera, if someone said to me, you're going to have to be here 12, 16 hours, which is normal. Where do you want me? But those roles are far and few in between. So as a result, then when I do, like as an example, I told you right from this gig, I'm doing a thing for CBS primetime, Bob Hart's Abishola. And when you get to do some big time thing like that, and I'm not sitting there going like that, it's just that it's so cool for me.
Oh yeah.
That I get to say tonight on CBS. That's so cool. I get, and all the people at CBS, because I did NCIS, Big Bang Theory, The Big Bang Theory. Every time I come in there, they're like, calm it down, because I'm like, this is so cool, and they're like, okay. And they don't think they thought I was faking it, and then finally about 3 or 4 years in, they're going, I guess this guy really is excited.
No, he's really this happy to do this.
Oh my gosh. I'm not proud. I'm a long shot. Jim Cummings, who's Winnie the Pooh and Darkwing Duck and everything. He and I are both, he's really more Pennsylvania, but we're, we come from the city, man. We know. Thank you. So we're not proud.
Well, I mean, Rob Paulson's the same way. It's
yes.
I mean, he said numerous times, he gets paid to do something he would gladly do for free just because he loves doing it.
Do you, I don't know if you know this guy, he's long gone, a guy named Gary Owens. Gary Owens, the guy who talked like this. Yeah. He was one of a mentor to me on many things. Just a wonderful guy. And Rob Paulson, I walked into an audition one day and the guy who was casting it was like, oh my God. I go, well, what's going on? He goes, well, Rob Paulson was just in here. And I asked him to do a Gary Owens voice. And Rob said, Gary Owens is alive and he's available and working. And if you want him, you should call him because I'm not going to do that. And he left. That's balls.
Yeah.
Wow. I can tell you a lot of negative stories about people. And if they're bad people, I will be more than happy to say their names. But I'm also the first guy to tell you if someone's a mensch like Paulson or Frank,
Yeah, and it's funny. I'm looking through your credits list, and your voiceover career has been fucking phenomenal.
What about all my great movies that you didn't mention that we talked about?
I haven't got there yet.
Wait a minute. Hot Moves, Get It On. I could keep going, but you don't. Can I do a line from Get It On for you? No, yeah. Hot Moves. Hot Moves. It was Hot Moves. And I'm going to do exactly how I was the lead's brother. Okay, ready? This is a movie called Hot Moves. You can get it somewhere. Ready? Here we go. You mean all these hot chicks are walking around the beach and you guys try to score a hooker? Thank you. Scene. I still remember it.
Well, I mean, and yeah, like your live action stuff too. You do have.
It's okay. I was just making.
Well,
fun.
No, just we were talking about voiceover, so, but yeah, like live action. I mean. Now,
oh wait! I promised you I'd tell you a story that no one else, and I was trying to figure out, and I just got one.
Go ahead.
No one knows this story. Can I tell it to you? It's about Seinfeld. Is that okay?
Yes.
Because I made a promise to myself that I would tell you something I've never said publicly. So I'm pretty sure I didn't tell this story. I'm almost positive. Okay, so I was lucky enough to do Seinfeld, and my buddy Steve Heitner, who plays Banyan the Comedians, one of my very close friends, we did a movie called Ski Patrol together and other things. And I just emceed his second wedding with Aidan Myron, if you know her, stand-up comedian. And anyway, so Steve has a birthday, and this is after the Seinfeld show's over with and whatever, but Seinfeld's the biggest guy, right? And it's at this goofy little bar, and I'm sitting next to this guy, and we're all there for Steve's birthday, and Seinfeld comes in. And the guy at the bar, do I want to tell you this story or no? I don't know. Yes, no?
Oh, yeah, I'll take it,
all
yeah.
Right. This is good. So the guy says to me, I got to go apologize to Seinfeld. I go, why? And he goes, well, about a year ago, I was waiting in line at a restaurant. He walks in, and they let him right in, and I scream, F you to the guy. And I go, well, does he know you? No. Did he ever meet you before? No. Well, this is Steve's birthday party. Do you really want to embarrass Steve by going up to this guy? He goes, well, I want to apologize to him. I go, well, Seinfeld's not going to remember you. I mean, just don't embarrass Steve. And he goes, okay. So like a half an hour goes by, and the guy says to me, I really want to go up to Seinfeld. I said, no, leave him alone. Don't embarrass Steve. I go up to Seinfeld because I know him a little bit. And Steve goes, Jerry, you remember Roger? He goes, sure, we did stand up together. And I went, well, no, we did the such and such. Right. And we did stand up together. I go, no, I did your show. Yes. And we did stand up together. And I thought about it. And I went, most powerful man in comedy. Yes, we did stand up together. Anyway, so now I go back to my seat. The guy's there, and Seinfeld is walking out. He goes, I really should go up to him. I said, no, don't embarrass Steve. And he walks out. 1 minute later, he walks back in and goes, F you, and then walks back out. And I went, I guess he remembers you. But it's like Seinfeld obviously thought better of it. He walked out and then turned right back in and just flipped him off and went, F you, and then walked out. I went, wow. And I found out later, Seinfeld has a memory like nobody. He remembers everybody and everything.
Oh, that's
Isn't that great? I felt so bad that I stopped that guy from.
Fuck you.
Well, apparently this guy was a dick. I mean, because the guy was the first to say to me that he was a dick. So I guess.
Oh, man.
There, you got one. Excuse me. There you go. That was the last story.
Voiceover wise, you've landed on some major properties. I mean, just looking at it, like The Tick, Quack Pack, couple spots on Extreme Ghostbusters. It's just like, you've had one hell of a career, and you're still going. I mean, this is insane.
Thank you. I just did. Oh God, not because you made me think of Gravedale High. They're bringing it back on MTV. Dead High. It's with Will Forte and. Oh my God, I feel terrible. Because I'm stuck on Gravedale High. yeah, anyway, I just did that. It's in the credits there. That was really fun. That was really cool. I got to be anyway, that's coming out I think soon on MTV, and so yeah, I'm very lucky in that. And it really is who you know and who remembers you, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I bet you she's been mentioned here before, Andrea Romano. She's my dear friend, and I owe her. I mean, I'm really one of the greatest thrills of my career, where you talk about like not being on camera, was being one of the 10 sanctioned Superman for Warner Brothers. And I got to do Batman Brave and Bold as Superman. And I was infected with red kryptonite, and I got to call Lois Lane a whore. That was sort of, I'm going, you guys sure? Yeah, you're infected with red kryptonite. Okay. If you say I can do it.
So there's a feather in your cap.
Yeah, it was cool. But no, not that part, but just the part of being Superman.
Oh yeah.
Which made me think of I go on tangents. Is that all right?
Oh,
I don't wanna...
be my guest.
There's a game I did called Mafia. I don't know if you're familiar with the games. It's a Mafia series. And can I get, it's again, I'm being dirty again. So is that all right? I don't want to, okay. I don't want to get anybody. So, I had to speak Italian. I'm a mobster. And so they want to be authentic. So they got a Italian lady in to translate for me. So when I would say stuff in Italian, it would be very authentic. And she was this beautiful young Italian woman. And I'm a mobster. So everything I say is a swear word or slang or rude. It's not like I'm saying anything. And what made me think of that was the horror. I had to say, hey, baby, for a woman of the streets, I'm trying to clean up, you have a great derriere. Now, I said it in a much harder way in Italian, but I had to say it phonetically correctly in Italian. So she would come in and say, all right, say, and I'm like, oh, but she'd say it again. I go, say it again. So what I'm basically saying to her is over and over again, you got a great one, you tramp. And she, but it's like, and she'd be just looking in my face. Say it again. Say it again. You have a great ass. You say it again. You have a great ass. And I was like, and then she walked out going, nice job. Like,
Professionals.
Yeah. It's like, this is the greatest job in the world.
You've also landed a couple Scooby-Doo movies.
You darn meddling kids. Got to say it.
Yeah. Talk about another, feather in the cap. That's like one of those lines that, as, a voice actor or just even as somebody who just wants to get into acting, you're like, maybe one day I'll get to be a villain on Scooby-Doo.
I know.
Because it's strange to think about, but that really is a benchmark to get to utter like those iconic lines.
You darn meddling kids. Frank Welker, Messick was originally Scooby-Doo, Don Messick, but he had passed away. And so it was Frank Welker, who still is Scooby-Doo. And, geez, what's his name? I can't remember. Anyway. And, Velma was Mindy Cohn from Facts of Life, and I guess Gray Lyle was the other girl. So it was, and everybody was just giving me a real tough time because it was so cool. Okay, let's make sure we all are quiet here. Here he goes. All that kind of stuff. And it was just so much fun. And Welker's patting me on the back, telling me, it was so cool. And, there's an example of Welker being brilliant because he goes from, gee, Scoob, let's get in the car, and to, it's like, man, that guy's amazing. But that was extremely cool. But look, Friday the 13th, here we are all these years later. And, how cool is that?
The fact that we're still talking about it is...
I think it's one of the better ones, though, I have to admit, especially the beginning.
Well,
it's the beginning.
it's essentially the relaunch of the franchise, because 5's kind of a dud, and and 5 is universally panned in the fandom as like the worst in the franchise, because it's like the one without Jason.
Yeah.
And then Jason Liz comes back, and you get Franken Jason, and true zombie Jason, and just out of the gate, Jason Liz comes back with, it's faster pace, it's a little darker,
and it's funnier too.
That's like, it's funnier. There's some fourth wall breaks.
Yeah,
like the caretaker, as he's shoveling up the grave, looks right at the camera. Some people have a strange sense of entertainment.
It's all Tommy. It's all him.
Yeah, it sets the tone for what will be the rest of the franchise,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a gorgeous reboot, essentially. And yeah, it really relaunches interest in the franchise.
Have you had Tommy on the show?
No, he will hopefully be coming on sometime this year.
Well, I give him all the credit. It's all him, and he should be doing another one. And it's an injustice that he's not. It just, he gets it. He gets it in everything you just said. It's all him, and he gets it. And I don't know how else to say it. He gets the drama, the Frankenstein, the comedy, the visual. Like that opening scene is like, oh my God. What's funny is, and that's how you also know if you have a good director or not. In my death scene, if you know, is, I get shish kebab with my girlfriend, and we're supposed to be on a motorcycle, and in the original thing of special effects, we were going to be hanging from the machete, but a light caught a tree on fire in the middle of the night, and that shut us down for like an hour or two. And he, in the old, you got to beat daylight.
Yeah. So
he had to improvise our death because he needed to get it in that night. I think lesser directors would have just die, but he didn't. He really came up, and Paramount, when the movie was about to come out, they got scared of all the violence. Like there was like some parent groups and stuff, so they cut all the deaths down a little bit. And one of the coolest things, I don't know if I'm sure it's been used since, but what was cut out is you see us get shish kebab or whatever, machete. But what he did is, like, if this is the camera right here, he put a piece of plexiglass right there. So I'm on this side, plexiglass is there, and the camera's there. And he filled our mouths with blood. So when we get shish kebab, we turn and go like that. So it was going to be all over the screen. I mean, that's a freaking cool idea.
Oh, yeah.
But they cut that out because they got scared of all the violence. But I mean, it was like very impressive. That's all I can say.
It's definitely a movie that has held up. I mean, we're going close to just under 40 years now.
Thanks.
To be fair, I was born February the same year. So, I mean,
okay.
I'm going close to 40 as well.
Well, they wanted you, but you were busy in your crib and they couldn't use you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, it's really holding its own. And what I find interesting about it is it finds a new audience. That one specifically finds a new audience every year. CJ Graham is great as Jason. He really brings his own take on the character, and it's, you're right. It's this perfect combination of scary and comedy, and I think it's one of the only ones that has a lot of actual kids in the movie too, and that adds another level of like, what's gonna happen.
I've told this one before, but can I tell you, when we do get the other part of being the macheted, because he had to improvise, I don't, if you don't, I mean, maybe you've heard this story before, so I don't, where Jason had, one eye is covered with his mask, and we had to, where he really used a real machete. You want me to tell that?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Back to the camera here. So they had to improvise because originally it was going to be a special effect and we were going to be hanging from the machete like that, right? But he didn't have time to do that. So the camera's here, we're here, and what we have to do is put our arm like this, and then the CJ playing Jason has to take a real machete and put it between our arms. So the camera, so it's like this, so the camera doesn't see that, right? But it's a real machete. And these are really our arms. And he's got one eye covered on his mask. So he has no depth perception. So when we're looking like we're being murdered, there's no acting going on because it's like action. He has to take the machete, make it through our arms. It's a big, gigantic, rusty machete. There's nothing fake about it. And if he misses, we die. so they're going, and we did it like 4 times. It scared the what out of us because it was like he's right there, and if he misses, it's over, Johnny. I get it. So there's no acting going on. We're like, like that.
You're legitimately scared for your life.
I was because, you think, oh, well, it's a rubber machete. No. That's very rusty, isn't it? Yes. Well, he has no depth perception. He's, you do it. You try it. It was not fun.
So how'd that role come about?
Well, that comes from voiceover. I was known as the deaf voice, and I've been doing some on camera, but I was known as the guy who they would bring me in, and I would, if someone's head was squeezed and their brain would pop out, I'd go, stuff like that. Anyway, so somebody recommended me to Tommy McGoughlin to do death voices for him. And I'm telling him that because he's making the movie, and I'm telling him, I always wanted to die brutally on a movie. This is out of a bad Hollywood story. I mean, this is absolutely true. So as I'm telling him this, the phone rings, and it's Paramount, and they're saying to him, "Hey, we don't have enough deaths in the movie. We need you to add 2 more deaths." And he goes, "Okay." And he hangs up the phone. And he goes, "I've always wanted to do this. Kid, I want you in my movie." And that's how I got the part. He said, "I get to do that Hollywood thing." And he put me in there. And do you remember the old guy who has the bottle in his neck?
Yeah.
That was funny because, again, there was the fire, and he had to get these murders like that. So for people who haven't seen it, Jason sticks a broken bottle in the guy's neck, and then blood shoots out of the spout of the bottle. And it was freezing, of course. It's the forest in the middle of the night. So the special effect wasn't working. So again, I give Tommy all credit. He had 2 special effects guys with rubber tubes that went up to the spigot of the bottle. But they're on their knees out of camera range, and they got to go to get the blood to shoot out. But it's freezing out, so liquid doesn't move. So it's like action. He goes, "Ah!" And they're going, and nothing's. It was the funniest thing to see 2 guys on their knees behind the guy going, and he's going, "Ah!" It's like nothing's for hours. It was great.
He has super clotting ability.
But they pulled it off. So, anyway, yeah.
So, since I know you have things to do this evening,
yes.
Before we wrap this up, what upcoming projects do you have that you would like to let people know to keep an eye out for?
The cartoon I was thinking of, it was Clone High. I have that coming up on MTV. I think it's going to be on. I think so. Paramount Plus, a lot of Paramount plugs.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of games going on right now. They just wrote me. Let's see. This one I'm doing tomorrow is Don't Tell Me. It's called Ruins. I have a game coming up called Ruins. There you go. And I have a cartoon on Netflix, Monkey with a Tool Belt, it's called. It's on Netflix. And a couple other cartoons, and then on camera, a couple things happening. But, that's about it.
And where can listeners keep up to date with all these projects and everything you have going on?
Well, you could either go to rogerrose.com and or you could talk to Lenny here.
Look at your puppers.
Yes, you could. Hello, how are you? No, all right. That's Lenny. Anyway, this is my voiceover dog. He's an old guy. He's 12 years old, but he because he's been with me since he's a puppy. Whenever I record, he knows to be quiet. It's sort of wild. And I'm actually watching another dog, and I was doing some gig yesterday, and suddenly I'm hearing, I'm going, what the? And then I realized it was that dog. They think it's me going, Yeah.
What were the social media sites?
RogerRose.com, at Roger Rose on Instagram, blah, 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 blah.
So the usual suspects.
The usual suspects, but it's under, and by the way, Roger Rose is my real name. Thank you. I know people think it's because I told you my parents are in broadcasting and they gave me a real radio name, Roger Rose, everybody. 45 minutes after the hour, that means you got 15 minutes to get to work. That routine.
Yeah. And listeners, I will put those links in the episode description, and you can find me and other great podcasters over at electronicmediacollective.com, or if you just want to follow me, head over to Facebook and Twitter and look up Moose Media Inc. Just look for the Moose.
And why Moose?
It was a nickname I picked up in high school, and it just kind of stuck.
I understand. And was this because you're a tall gentleman, or is this because you poop it?
I poop M&Ms. No. So, no, I played a character named Moose in Crazy for You, a musical I did in my freshman year of high school. And in the original, he's kind of the town drunk, but since it's high school, he was the town idiot, because you can't be a town drunk in school.
Right.
And it just kind of stuck. He was this big, kind of stumbly, bumbly, almost Mongo from Blazing Saddles.
Ooh, one of my favorite movies.
So it stuck. And it's been Moose ever since.
Wow, that's cool. Mel Brooks in high school, I used to call celebrities in high school and put them on my high school radio station. We had this power of a light bulb. It was like nobody heard us or anything, but I would get through to celebrities. And Mel Brooks, when I was in high school, I called 20th Century Fox, and my name is Roger Rose. His lawyer's name is Richard Rosen. And for whatever reason, he thought it was his lawyer. So I immediately got through. And again, it's another dirty story. I can't say what he said. He goes, Richard Rosen? And I go, no, it's Roger Rose. He goes, well, why the F aren't you Richard Rosen? I go, I know I'm 15. And I go, I don't know. Well, who the heck is this then? And I go, well, he didn't say that. He said, who the F is this? And I said, Roger Rose. He goes, well, then I don't want to talk to you. Click. Then I call back, Richard Rosen? And I go, no. Who is this? Roger Rose. I don't know Roger Rose. Click, right? 20 years later, I'm interviewing him on one of my talk shows that I had. And it's going great. It's him and Carl Reiner. It's really thrilling. And I said, I don't think you're going to remember this, but I figured, what the heck? And I go, I called you once in high school and you thought I was Richard Rosen. And he goes, and why the F aren't you him? And I'm like, wow. But by the way, he didn't say F. He went the full word.
Holy crap.
Isn't that cool? I go, wow, you button a joke 20 years later. That's impressive. That's why he is the man he is.
Steel trap, man. Steel trap.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Roger, this has been, oh my God, phenomenally fun.
Thank you. Real pleasure meeting you, Moosey.
And we definitely have to do this again sometime.
Okay. Sounds great. And again, I apologize for the scheduling conflicts. It's just one thing after another, man.
Oh, man, life happens. You know, it's the one thing you learn in this business is life happens, call an audible and punt.
You got a great attitude. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I look forward to having you on again. And
thanks.
Listeners, go watch Friday the 13th, Part 6. Go watch everything else he's done. Just look up Roger Rose. If you have a Roku, you have a Fire Stick, you have anything, just put them in the search bar. It all pops up.
You got to watch that comic book, the movie, because
yes,
you'll scream out loud when you see all these people that you know their voices, and then all of a sudden you get to see what they look like. And they're all very good improv actors. Like, SpongeBob, Tom Kenny is, amazing. And his wife, Jill, who's currently on Chicago Party Ant, and on and on and on. I mean, and there's tons of cameos. Stan Lee's in it, and J.J. Abrams, and Ron Perlman, and of course, Mark Hamill is the star of the thing. So, it's pretty amazing. It's not a very good movie, by the way, but it's pretty amazing to see.
But it's fun.
It's fun to see everybody, but the movie, hey, I was lucky enough to be in it. That's all I have to say.
And be sure to tune in here in just a couple weeks for our annual year in review for horror, where we go over last year's big hits and look at what's coming out this year to see what we're excited to see. And until next time, Horror Hounds, mash on.
This has been Moose's Monster Mash. Come back for more chills and thrills if you dare.